This morning, San Antonio police are looking for a man who opened fire during a fight. How the suspect got away even after a SWAT team got involved.
And I was screaming at him, "My kid is in the car, my kid is in the car." I said it probably 10 times.
A heart-stopping moment as a mother rushes to stop a man trying to steal her car while her 5-year-old daughter is still inside. How she was able to rescue her child.
And a closer look at the controversy and concern over a proposed housing development in Northwest Bexar County and how it could affect your drinking water.
Live from KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Welcome in. Hope you're having a nice Wednesday so far. It sounds like it's going to be a very nice day.
Oh yeah, happy hump day, guys. Very peaceful on the roadways. But
not too bad so far. We'll take it. Fingers crossed.
Get to that soon. But first and foremost, let's get to Justin Horn, who is back in the building.
Not only is it a happy hump day, it is also happy cold front day.
Hey,
Reason to celebrate. Yes, cold front will be moving in later this afternoon, and we are tracking it already this morning across parts of central Texas. San Angelo seeing some storms this morning. In fact, there was some severe weather around San Angelo a little bit earlier. This line of storms, you see all the lightning strikes with it. There are some outflow boundaries too, so a lot going on up here. But this will all be sinking south. Now, I think these storms probably die down a little bit, but we may see some regeneration of storms along the front later today. A little closer look here at San Angelo. And you can see there's a nice little line there north of San Angelo. We already had one group of thunderstorms come through, and that is kind of pushing east, but the front itself is pushing south. So let's look at the computer models here. And this is midday. Again, some of these storms die down a little bit, but as the storm pushes in at 4 o'clock, and by the way, this is brand new data that's just coming into us, it does develop some showers and storms even here around San Antonio with the front. This is around 6 o'clock, so we have to think about the evening commute here. There could be some storms involved and after school practices and those sort of things. So let's keep an eye to the sky. And then by 8 o'clock, some of this is pushing south. I still think we'll get some development, though, overnight, even behind the front. So there's still some more chances of rain even into the overnight hours. Mostly cloudy this morning, noontime 87. We start to bring in the rain chance at that point. And then by this afternoon, that's when we go 50 to 60% chance of rain. That's not to say everyone's going to get rain because it will be spotty, but the odds go up. And we'll see temperatures spike at about 92, 93, maybe 94 before we see temperatures come down behind the front. And yes, there is some cooler weather on the way. We'll discuss it all for you coming up in just a couple minutes. The evening commute could be a little hairy, RJ, but the morning commute's going okay.
Yeah, not too bad right now on the roads if you're about to step outside. We're going to help you get to your destination. Good morning to everyone out there. Taking a look at our traffic authority, starting with our TransGuide traffic camera. Southeast side, good morning to all of our folks out here. And another shot there, 281 at Grayson over by the Pearl. Traffic is moving along, so we will definitely take that. Another shot there at the situation on 281 over at Hildebrand over by UIW. We are clearing out an incident right here, 410 at West Avenue. Looks like traffic for the most part moving along there, and I-10 traffic is moving along there east and westbound over by the medical center as we get all of our folks over there in the medical center going on this Wednesday morning. Let's give you an update on the situation right here northeast side of town. We have seen this ongoing delays here, about a 10 to 15 minute delay right now if you're coming 35 south, basically Thousand Oaks all the way up to Topperwine. So if you're starting at Topperwine, it's going to take you about that time frame to get through some of this activity. Randolph Boulevard remains an option for all of our folks headed on 35 on the northeast side of town. And we are starting to clear some things out over here at 1604 over by Northwest Military and Blanco Road. Traffic starting to move along both directions. Still seeing delays right there, 1604 west at Bulverde Road. We'll keep an eye on that situation as the access roads still remain open there. Let's check in with Alex right now on Drive Cam and see how things are looking on the ground. Happy Wednesday morning, Alex Gomez.
RJ, good morning and happy hump day. Yeah, so far this morning I've only been seeing some minor construction delays. This area right here is going to be 1604 westbound just past Gold Canyon. So the far north side has wrapped up their construction and there's no crashes to report. So we're doing fine over here on the far north side, RJ.
Okay, good to see it, Alex, as we continue monitoring things for you on the roads. Guys, back to you.
New this morning, San Antonio police are searching for a man accused of opening fire after a fight on the city's west side. They were called out to Torreon Street at around 4:30 yesterday afternoon. Investigators say a man stepped in to defend friends during a brawl when he was hit in the head by someone with a 2x4. He was treated for cuts but not sent to a hospital. Police say that's when another man pulled out a gun and fired, but nobody was hit. Later that night, SWAT surrounded a home nearby, but the suspect, believed to be in his 20s or 30s, got away. The investigation is still ongoing.
Now we got the latest on this devastating story. This morning, we got grief, shock, and unanswered question in far west Bexar County still. And there were 2 children were found dead over the weekend. We've been telling you about this. We know now that there were 6-year-old Savani Stevenson and 3-year-old Minyani Islar. A memorial growing just steps away from where their bodies were found. And their mom, Tiona Islar, facing 2 child injury charges, is in the Bexar County jail. She claims that her kids were left in a hot car. But Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar says that her story has some inconsistency. The medical examiner finished autopsies for both kids, but won't release the cause of death until toxicology results come in. People who knew the children well say that it's been hard to say goodbye.
We might not be a family or by blood, but this was our family. This was our village.
A BCSO spokesperson says the deputies had visited their home before, and they're now working with Child Protective Services to find out what happened. Another big story that we're following this morning. Camp Mystic in Hunt will reopen next summer. That's where 27 young girls and counselors lost their lives in the July 4th floods. In a letter to families, the camp promised to follow new state safety laws and said that it would build a memorial to honor the girls' joy and kindness. Meanwhile, search efforts continue for 2 people who remain missing from the flood, including one Camp Mystic camper, 8-year-old Cecilia Stewart from Austin. Also still missing 63-year-old Jeffrey Ramsey of Louisville, Texas.
This morning, we now know the man who died in a house fire on Chartwell Drive near I-10 in Wurzbach. This was Monday night. He's been identified as 54-year-old Michael Gallegos, and investigators believe he set the fire himself. Now, that same home had been the source of several 911 calls. In fact, just hours before the fire, police were called out for a gun disturbance, but since nobody was threatened, officers left. 3 hours later, Gallegos was dead. The fire is now being investigated as arson.
Bexar County District Attorney's Office has filed a motion to revoke Eric Cantu's probation. Now, he's the 20-year-old man who tried to drive away during a traffic stop and was shot by a San Antonio police officer back in 2022. He's been in trouble with the law several times since then. Back on Friday, Cantu was arrested again for allegedly stomping a woman's head in 2024 assault. An arrest warrant affidavit says that Cantu threw a woman to the ground, stomped on her head, and punched and kicked her at a gas station on the south side. He was charged with assault causing bodily injury. Cantu has faced numerous charges over the past few years, including evading arrest.
All right, how scary is this? A San Antonio mother says that she was left shaken after a man tried to steal her car while her 5-year-old daughter was still inside the vehicle. And surveillance video captured the moment Lisa Hummer rushed to stop a man who had climbed into her car outside of a daycare near Timber Hill and Grissom Road. Hummer had just walked her twin 1-year-olds to the door, leaving her daughter Nova in that car. Now, she admits she forgot to lock the doors, so that's when the suspect jumped in and tried to drive off with Nova in the back seat.
And I was screaming at him, "My kid is in the car, my kid is in the car." I said it probably 10 times.
Now, even after the suspect shifted into reverse and tried to maneuver around her, Hummer stood in front of the car and pleaded with him until he gave up, got out of the vehicle, and then ran off. San Antonio police are now investigating, and Hummer says the ordeal was a wake-up call, and she's urging other parents to always double-check their doors, even during quick stops.
Coming up on 608 right now, let's give you a look at some of your morning headlines. President Donald Trump is making headlines at the United Nations, signaling a big shift in his stance on the war in Ukraine. After meeting with President Zelensky, Mr. Trump said that he now believes Ukraine can reclaim all of the territory that it lost to Russia. It's a change from his earlier calls for concessions to end the war. He even said that NATO nations should be ready to shoot down Russian aircraft if they cross into their airspace. But while optimistic about Ukraine, Trump struck a more combative tone in his speech to the General Assembly, criticizing global migration, climate policies, and even some world leaders. Well, back here closer to home, it's been a debate for years in the state of Texas, and now it is a law. Governor Greg Abbott has signed Senate Bill 8, which is often referred to as the bathroom bill. This new law restricts transgender people from using certain restrooms in government buildings, public schools, and universities, and also bans access to women's shelters. Supporters say that it is about privacy, but opponents argue that this discriminates against transgender Texans. Violations could bring fines of up to $125,000. The law takes effect on December the 4th. National news now. Ryan Ruth has been found guilty of attempting to assassinate President Donald Trump at a Florida golf course last year. You see some photos of him right there. After the verdict yesterday, Ruth tried to stab himself in the neck with a pen, but was quickly restrained by officers. The jury took about 2 hours to reach their decision. Ruth, who represented himself in court, faces life in prison with sentencing now scheduled for December 18th. And Jimmy Kimmel back on air after nearly a week off. Last night, he opened with a 15-minute monologue, getting emotional at times, and defended free speech while clarifying his comments about the killing of Charlie Kirk. Kimmel said that he never meant to make light of the tragedy or blame any group, calling it nothing funny at all. He also blasted FCC Chairman Brendan Carr for what he called un-American censorship, while thanking supporters on both sides of the aisle, even Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Disney, which is ABC's parent company, says the break allowed for thoughtful conversations before Jimmy Kimmel's return. Justin.
Thank you, RJ. 610, 80 degrees. It's still really warm and humid, but yes, we have a front that will be headed our way later today. Expect a quiet morning this morning, but some rain possible this afternoon. How much could we see? We'll look at some of the numbers and talk about how long that rain could linger as well. Coming up.
Close calls at home plate could be a thing of the past. Major League Baseball testing out robot umpires. We'll get a first look at how it works and how it could change the game.
And up next, one of the winners of our essay picks contest, how one San Antonio comic shop is keeping it personal, giving locals a space to play, trade, and connect. All right, 6:14 now on this Wednesday. We asked, you delivered. Thank you very much. The votes are in for the essay picks. A chance for you, the viewer, to tell us your favorite San Antonio businesses.
So those categories range from food to gyms to dog groomers and hobbies like comic books.
And Devin Karp is standing by, not too far from us, here to highlight one local business that's been around for decades. Devin, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. It's kind of not hard to find the relevance of comic books and trading cards and games in pop culture. You ever watched a Marvel movie or heard about Dungeons and Dragons and Stranger Things, or even gone for a good baseball card? It's an industry that's growing from a niche hobby into mainstream, worth tens of billions of dollars. And Heroes in Fantasies in San Antonio wants to make sure that even as it changes, Alamo City locals can still have a place to call their own community. So the shop has grown from a small storefront off of Loop 410 into this warehouse you see off 281 with another location in Universal City, and it's been around 38 years. The shop has a pretty wide range of different comic books, more than 100,000 of them, all including board games, dice, action figures, and of course a lot of trading cards. But it also has an open game space where they can host free tournaments, game nights, and tutorials for new games coming out 4 nights a week, opening up a community where people can dip a toe into the water if they want, or dive in to learn a new hobby that could become one of their favorites. At a time when a lot of celebrities like Logan Paul have been driving up the cost for card games like Pokemon, looking for those trading cards, the owners want to make sure that everyone can have a local, affordable, and accessible place to find something.
We're really big on trying to stock that stuff too, because again, we want to make sure that we're not gatekeeping and we are allowing everyone to get into this hobby, where not everyone can come in and afford a $50 toy or something like that.
So Heroes in Fantasies always has those free tables for games you see right there and get-togethers. And they also encourage strangers just to show up and try battling, trading cards, or sharing comics, whatever they've got. If you want to see some of the rest of the full list of winners of the nearly 100 categories for SA Picks, you can go to KSAT.com. In the meantime, I'm going to see if I can find a good Pokemon card. Just kidding. I've got one right here, guys.
Of course, Devin has a Pokemon card in his jacket. Wouldn't expect anything less. Yes. All right. Good stuff there, Devin. And thank you again to everyone that took part in that essay picks. The first time we're doing that, and love to see all the participation. 37 Alamo Dome traffic is starting to get a little bit busy in parts of the southeast side. Let's go actually there right now, because you see some flashing lights off there to the distance. Right now, TxDOT is reporting this as a stalled vehicle. Looks like actually that Hero truck is now actually clearing the scene. So that's good news here over for our drivers. That was actually on 410 headed over to 37, but it looks like for the most part, traffic is starting to move along there. 410 East right here in McCullough over by North Star Mall. Seeing a little bit of activity off to the side there. Eastbound lanes, again, traffic is moving along for our drivers that are headed from basically parts of West Avenue, Jackson Keller over to Blanco Road, again, over by the North Star Mall area on the north side. So no major issues there. Quick check at our gas prices across the San Antonio area. And check this out, because I was at an HEB yesterday and I was like, oh, what is going on here? At that HEB, it was $2.95. The citywide average right now, $2.89. From a week ago, we're looking at a 14-cent increase, so pretty dramatic increase. I'm going to do a story later on today to kind of talk about some gas trends, so we'll continue to update you on the situation with some gas prices, $2.74 across the state. San Antonio seeing gas prices definitely take a jump over the past couple of days. Let's go to Alex right now in Drive Cam and see how things are looking on the ground. Alex, what can you tell us?
Yeah, good morning, RJ. Well, I just left 1604 on the northeast side. Now I'm going to get on I-35 southbound, but so far it's been pretty smooth over here on this side of town. I'm not tracking any incidents, and I'm not seeing too much construction anymore. So I-35 southbound so far looks to be in the clear. RJ.
Okay, thank you very much for that update, Alex Gomez and Justin. We're expecting to see a couple of pretty anticipated changes coming up here pretty soon.
Yeah, some pretty good changes, RJ. I think you're going to like the forecast once we get past today, and you may love today because we get some rain chances back in the picture. Here's why. We've got a cold front that stretches across central Texas this morning. Behind it, we've got some pretty hefty storms stretching from San Angelo up to Abilene along I-20 there in north central Texas. This front does make its way down to San Antonio later today. This is a futurecast, and this is just one model. Again, this is newly updated here. This is at noontime. Doesn't show a whole lot, so we may see some of the storms that we're looking at around San Angelo die down a little bit. But as this storm, or as this front moves into humid, warm air mass this afternoon, we may see some new development form along this front. This is around 4 o'clock. And do note that it will be spotty. Not everyone is going to see rain. We're not going to see a solid line of storms. But this model does paint the picture of some storms right around dinner time, maybe for the evening commute, which could certainly cause some delays. So we want to let you know about that. And then storms may try to die down a little bit during the evening with some redevelopment overnight for some more showers and storms north of the front. All said and done, I don't know that we're going to get a ton of rain out of this. The issue will be that some places will get quite a bit. If you're underneath one of those heavier downpours, you could pick up 1 to 2 inches. But in general, on average, we're talking 1/4 to 1/2 inch rain, which I know is a bit of a downward trend from what we were initially looking at. The heavier storms will likely be down along the coast where widespread 1 to 2 inches will be a possibility. If you're timing out the rain chances here, 2 p.m. 40% and then at 60%, 6 p.m. through about 2 a.m. That's the window we'll be watching for the best odds. And then by tomorrow morning, the rain chances will be coming down. Outside right now, cloudy and 80 degrees. It is warm. It is humid. So we're off to a very warm start. And we'll end up around 94. That's before the front comes through. But once it does, tomorrow, we'll see a high of 89. Not a huge cool down, but a difference nonetheless. And then we'll get some great mornings too, especially Friday morning and Saturday morning, where we'll be in the 60s and it will actually feel a little bit like fall. But in the meantime, today will be the day, I think, the busiest day here in the 7-day forecast, and we'll be watching it all very closely for you and keeping you up to date. All right, just ask Justin. We talked about the birds earlier. The unique bird that we found here in Texas, but I wanted to know, what is the most common bird found in Texas, just by sheer number? Is it the mockingbird, grackle, sparrow, or dove? Go to ksat.com/polls. Scan the QR code right now. Mockingbird has a narrow lead.
Okay, very good answer coming up in a little bit. Right now,
Yes.
621, 80 degrees outside.
So, human umpires soon be replaced by robots. The MLB rolling out an automated ball strike system to settle close calls. And we'll show you exactly how it works coming up.
In this morning's GMA First Look, baseball game changer. The MLB is looking to make contentious close calls at home plate a thing of the past.
Here he go. No swing.
Approving the use of what's called robot umpires, game-changing technology to avoid scenes like this.
And here comes Torey Lovello, and Lovello's been ejected.
The automated ball strike system known as ABS is set to debut in 2026 and will help human umpires determine balls and strikes.
This is historic. If the batter, the pitcher, or the catcher thinks the umpire made a mistake, they can say, hang on a second, we are going to appeal and check what technology says.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll show you just how this new system works and how similar technology is already being used in other sports. With your GMA First Look, I'm Perry Russum, ABC News, New York.
All right, 625 right now, 80 degrees outside.
One local mother says that she's been calling, pleading, still not getting any answers about bullying at her kid's school. We're going to show you how to advocate for your children when the system is not listening.
Plus, Northwest Bexar County could see 3,000 new homes, but critics warn that a new development might put San Antonio's water at risk. How a new wastewater plant could impact the Edwards and Trinity aquifers, coming up.
Live from KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
All right, check your clocks. It is coming up on 6:30 right now. Again, happy hump day.
Indeed. Never too early to look ahead to high school and college football. And I say that because the people that are going to be outdoors for these games this coming weekend, I think this feels like it's going to be different.
Yeah,
fall weather.
It's still going to be hot, but if the games are in the evenings, it will feel really good. And we'll get some lower humidity, which always helps around here. So yes, we have a cold front. We'll call it a cold front because, again, the temperatures aren't going to be impacted in a big way, but you will be able to tell the difference. It arrives this afternoon. Storms will be possible, I'd say, this afternoon into tonight. That's kind of the window for that. And yes, some changes, less humid and cooler mornings lie ahead. So that's what we have to look forward to. Here is the timing for the cold front. We think it starts to move into the hill country between noon and 2 o'clock. In San Antonio, it'll be a late afternoon passage between 2 and 4 o'clock. And then this evening through the rest of our viewing area. So it'll be kind of a slow process, but it does get through. And rain chances will increase as that front begins to run into our warm, humid air mass that we have in place. Now, yes, there is a 60% chance of storms, but I will tell you this, not everyone is going to get rain. If you do get one of these heavier storms, expect some heavy rain out of it, but it'll be kind of sporadic around the area. In other words, we're not going to see a solid line of rain. And before that front gets here, it will be awful warm. 94 is what we hit, but tomorrow, highs potentially in the upper 80s. And yes, some lower humidity too. We'll talk all about it. We'll get you the 7-day forecast as well. But let's talk traffic. The morning commute looks good. Evening commute could be a little different, RJ.
All right, Justin. Yes, things looking pretty good out there if you're about to step outside. So let's help you get to work or any one of your destinations. Take a look here at 35 at Walsham Road on the northeast side of town over by Roosevelt High School. Good morning to all of our folks out there. 37 at the Alamo Dome Tower. Traffic starting to build a little bit on 37, but no major incidents on that particular highway. Let's take a look here. This is going to be 410 eastbound at McCullough Avenue. It's right there by the North Star Mall area, and a couple different options. Obviously, if you need to kind of get to the San Antonio Airport Isom Road, that's a potential option. But again, traffic for the most part moving along the eastbound lanes of McCullough. Just keep that in mind if you're stepping outside, headed out to San Pedro, obviously Blanco on the north side of town. Traffic starting to build a little bit right here. You see some of the backup there. That's our traffic coming in from 10 going on to 410, an area that gets pretty busy throughout our morning rush hour. Expect a little bit of delays there for all of our folks trying to get to the 410-35 corridor or interchange on the east sides of town. And we saw that one vehicle off to the side here. This is going to be far southeast side of town, 37 at 410. That's actually on 410. We had a Hero truck earlier at the scene, but it looks like for the most part traffic is moving along there on the southeast side over by Old Corpus Christi Highway. Good morning to all of our folks there. Let's check in with Alex right now, see how things are looking in Drive Cam on this Wednesday morning. Alex, how do things look on the ground?
They're looking pretty fine right now, RJ. Good morning. I'm on the Crossroads interchange right now. I'm leaving 410. I'm going to go I-10 eastbound towards downtown. But so far, everything looks normal. It's not too congested just yet, RJ.
Okay, thank you very much for that update. And be safe, everyone out there on the roads. We'll continue to monitor the situation. Guys, back to you.
Hi, 6:32 now. So Camp Mystic in Hunt, where 27 young girls and counselors lost their lives in the July 4th floods, has announced plans to reopen next summer.
Our very own Devin Karp staying on top of this story and joins us from the newsroom with the details. Good morning, Devin.
Guys, we got this news in last night from the Eastland family that Camp Mystic will open up its doors to campers starting in summer of 2026. But it's not going to be on the Guadalupe campsite that flooded. Instead, they plan to use the Cypress Lake campsite that's less than a mile south and uphill of the Guadalupe campsite. In a letter to families, the camp promised to follow new state safety laws and said it will build a memorial to honor the girls' joy and kindness. Meanwhile, the parents of the victims are still pushing lawmakers to strengthen camp safety and prevent another tragedy. The Texas Tribune reports that Matthew Childress, the father of Chloe Childress, one of the 2 counselors who died in the flood, said in a text that the families of deceased campers and counselors were not consulted about this decision. Instead, they want to see efforts focused on the recovery of Seal Stewart, the last camper from Camp Mystic that hasn't yet been recovered. A statement from Camp Mystic's letter reads, in quote, part, "We are not only rebuilding cabins and trails, but also a place where laughter, friendship, and spiritual growth will continue to flourish. As we work to finalize plans, we will do so in a way that is mindful of those that we have lost." While the Guadalupe campsite won't be reopening next year, the camp did say that it continues to evaluate plans to rebuild and never having campers return to cabins that had floodwaters inside. The owners plan to release 2026 camp dates coming up here in early October. Guys?
Devin, thank you. Meanwhile, tonight in Kerrville, property taxes are set to go up by almost 8%. City leaders say the higher rate is allowed after flooding this past summer, and it could bring in more than $337,000. And a reminder for property owners hit by the floods, you have until October 20th to file for a disaster exemption. This morning, we're about 6 weeks into the new school year, and bullying can become a real concern for a lot of parents.
And our Patty Santos live at Kerrville Middle School this morning with some concerns that parents have about their child's safety. Good morning, Patty.
Hey there, good morning. So we got a call from a parent at Kerrville Middle School who was concerned about bullying going on at school. I reached out to an expert to find out, how do parents handle this kind of situation?
When there's multiple kids picking on you, you can't really ignore that. And that takes such a mental toll. And it's so heartbreaking to know that a parent at home can't do anything.
That's Caitlin. She contacted KSAT about her daughter being bullied in Kerrville Middle School. And a day after our calls to the district, Caitlin got a call herself from the district to touch base on the next steps for her daughter. A Judson ISD spokesperson says they take bullying seriously and they're committed to working with parents. In fact, just a week ago, they held a campus site-based meeting where anti-bullying was on the agenda. So is there a right way to address bullying? Denitra Brooks James is a licensed counselor. She has shared her expertise on bullying nationally. She says, if your child is being bullied, first off, listen without judgment, ridicule, or punishment. Build up your child, remind them of their strengths, and teach them coping skills on how to calm their emotions. Parents, document what your child is telling you. Names, people, places. Be familiar with the school policies on bullying. Then, make an appointment for a face-to-face with the school principal and follow up on that meeting.
You can do everything you can do to protect them, but once they enter those school doors, they're on their own. So it's very important for families to to know how to become centered. And like you said, know the policy and know how to protect your kids without getting too emotional about it.
You're not going to get help if you go to school aggressive. So you have to get out of your emotions, because you're not going to help your child if you're overly emotional. And then you become aggressive verbally and or physically. They won't, you're actually going to do your child a disservice.
And the district says all concerns about bullying have been addressed with parents, with the families, and that additional support has been provided to the students. Now, Caitlin says she got a call and that her child will be seeing a counselor. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Patty. This morning, Uvalde police say that they do not believe that anyone else was involved in the death of a woman who previously worked in Congressman Tony Gonzalez's office. Regina Santos Aviles died after catching fire while alone in her backyard. Authorities say that it could take weeks for results to come back from home surveillance footage sent to Texas DPS Crime Lab. Now, Santos Aviles' family told KSAT she passed away on September the 14th after being airlifted to San Antonio with severe burns. They say the fire was an accident. We got a new KSAT Explains taking a look at the controversy and concern over a proposed housing development in Northwest Bexar County.
Critics of the plan believe it has the potential to contaminate San Antonio's water supply. So it's called Guajolote Ranch. It's a development that would create roughly 3,000 homes on 1,100 acres near Helotes, north of Gray Forest. The plan would require a wastewater treatment plant, which would clean and process sewage and then dump it into the Helotes Creek watershed. Well, that feeds the Edwards and Trinity aquifers, and that is where the controversy comes in. The developer of the project is pushing back on those claims, saying that they are taking extraordinary steps to protect water quality. The criticisms and the response are in a brand new KSAT Explains, which you can watch anytime on demand on the free KSAT Plus app, YouTube, or on KSAT.com.
Happening today, District 8 residents have a chance to learn more about the future of the Sports and Entertainment District, happening at a town hall. It's happening from 6 to 8 p.m. at Oak Meadow Elementary School's cafeteria. Well, council member Ivelisse Mesa Gonzalez will give residents an overview of the proposed budget for the Sports and Entertainment District, including how it might be funded and the timelines involved. City Manager Eric Walsh also be there to speak and answer those questions. And happening today also, we got senior citizens living at the Wheatley Park Senior Living Facility speaking out again about unsafe conditions at their apartment complex. They're now calling on their landlords to fix issues that have been going on for years. We brought you this story over a year ago where tenants say that they were dealing with AC issues. Now they're dealing with a lot more that is making daily life hard and sometimes dangerous. They're facing no heat in the winter, no air conditioning in the summer, and an elevator that doesn't work. The issues don't stop there, though. Get this, residents report leaks, flooding, mildew, and hot water that comes and goes. Pests are also a constant problem with little effective control, and security is a big issue, too.
Right outside with live cam, it is 6:39, 80 degrees, a very warm and humid morning. We have a lot of clouds, but no rain yet. Cold front could bring some showers and storms this afternoon, and it does bring about changes for the rest of the work week. We'll get you another look at that forecast coming up.
Well, the cost of your Disney, Hulu, and ESPN plans are about to go up again. We're going to tell you how much and when that will happen.
And we got Texas liquor stores cracking down on the THC sales, but not everywhere, though. We'll break down the new rules that require ID checks and who else the state plans to regulate next.
6:43, welcome back to Good Morning San Antonio. Taking a look at some statewide headline here. Texas stores that sell alcohol are no longer allowed to sell THC products to anyone under 21 years old. This is a new emergency rule from the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission. Cashiers will be required to check IDs now. Smoke shops, gas stations, and many online sellers, though, are not covered by this. The state will actually regulate those. This enforcement at liquor stores starts on October the 1st. And when it comes to the IRS, the check is no longer going to be in the mail. The IRS announced it's phasing out paper tax refund checks for individual taxpayers beginning on September 30th. This change is a result of an executive order which mandates that all federal payments must transition to electronic methods. Officials say the change is designed to protect taxpayers as well as expediting that refund process.
Alrighty, so thank you. In your consumer headlines this morning, Disney is raising the prices on the majority of its streaming service plans in the U.S. again. That includes most Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Select plans. Most of them are increasing by $1 to $3 a month. This is the third time in 3 years that Disney has raised streaming service prices in the U.S. The new prices go into effect on October 21st.
UNES has a new top-selling beer, and with Michelob Ultra. It's overtaking previous leader Modelo Especial in retail sales by volume, according to reports from Circana. Officials of Anheuser-Busch say that the boost was largely helped by the launch of their non-alcoholic Michelob Ultra Zero. Overall, the beer industry is struggling. Retail sales for the first half of the year just under $35 billion, and that's a year-over-year drop of roughly 5%.
All right, we talked about this earlier, a rare bird that's been spotted in a San Antonio suburb. Researchers at the University of Texas at Austin say the creature is a mix between a green jay and a blue jay. You can read more about the discovery right now on KSAT.com. So, again, familiar with the blue jay, was not aware of the green jay.
Green jay. Hey, it's coming
and
out.
we'll bring in, we're going to bring in the RJ right now. Who's no relation to
one
the
of the
green jays.
Yes.
Yeah, Green Jay is coming out just in time for Wicked's final trailer this week. Today.
Yes. There's another Wicked movie coming out.
Justin, we do this all the time. Okay. Let's get to the roadways.
Yeah, guys, things are starting to get busy out there as we give you a look here at some of our TransGuide traffic cameras. And again, take a look at the downtown area, 10 at the Y, 10 at Callahan West. But let's go ahead and update you on a situation south of downtown right now. This is going to be I-10 at Probent, and we are getting reports now of a potential crash over here in the I-10 Probent area. Again, south of Lone Star, south of Southtown, and also south of the King William area. We'll continue to monitor this situation, give you more updates as we get them. It looks like our traffic on 35 starting to back up significantly here. Give yourself about an extra 15 minutes right now, and this is a little bit earlier than usual, what we normally see with some of our construction activity right here in the downtown area. And we'll, again, circle back to that situation out there, 10 at Probent, give you more updates. We do have a stalled vehicle right here. That's going to be 410 West at Fredericksburg Road. That's going to be past the 410 I-10 interchange over by the Balcones Heights area, right before you get to parts of Babcock and also Callahan. Looks like traffic for the most part moving along there. So we will move along to this situation right here, 410 at McCullough. This is going to be a 410 East at McCullough Avenue. Still reporting an incident off the side of the road, but traffic is moving along the east and westbound lanes of McCullough over there by North Star Mall. Let's check in with Alex Gomez right now and see how things are looking in Drive Cam. Alex, what can you tell us?
Yeah, good morning, RJ. Well, you're right. It's heating up over here downtown. This is 35 North near Nogalitos. We do have packed lanes. And I did see that incident south of downtown, I-10 East, right there by Probent. The left lane is blocked. I saw at least 3 vehicles involved in that crash. And we're going to need tow trucks there. And they haven't even arrived yet. So it's going to be there for some time. Again, the left lane blocked, I-10 East at Probent. RJ.
Okay, Alex Gomez, he is on the spot as usual with the very latest information. So be careful if you're headed out south of downtown on I-10 at Probent. Justin, how are we looking out there this morning?
RJ, we are tracking a cold front, which is making its way across Texas. There is some cooler air behind it. We've got 60s and even some 50s up in the Texas Panhandle. We're not going to see temperatures that cool, but that cooler air and drier air will eventually work in a little bit later tonight going into tomorrow. Right now, though, we are sitting at 80. It is still very humid. We are out ahead of that front. Here's how it plays out today. This cool front will make it into the hill country by midday. With it, we could see a couple of showers and storms. And then with the heating of the day as this front comes in, more storms may try to develop by the afternoon. This is around 4 o'clock, and it does show some activity here around San Antonio. It's not going to be a solid line of storms, so we keep putting out that caveat that not everyone is going to get rain, but if you get underneath one of these heavier storms, you certainly could pick up quite a bit, 1 to 2 inches in isolated spots. But if you average it all out, we're talking probably on the order of 1/4 to 1/2 inch for most of us. The heavier rain will push off to the south and east tonight. With that said, I still think we'll see a few more showers and storms overnight before rain chances die down tomorrow morning. The severe weather risk is there on a scale of 1 to 5. It's 1. Gusty winds would be the main threats with any of these storms that develop, and that's something we will certainly keep an eye on. Hour by hour here, mostly cloudy this morning. We'll get some sun by midday, but then we start to bring in the rain chances. 20% noontime, 30% at 1 o'clock. And we bring rain chances all the way up to 60% for the late afternoon, evening, and even some of the overnight hours. Do know that this could affect the evening commute. Temperatures will spike around 94 or so and then start to come down behind the front as we get later into the evening. Dew points will also come down, so it'll be rather humid today, but by tomorrow we'll get dew points in the mid-50s. It'll feel much better. The air will be dry, and that will provide for some great mornings ahead. Very quickly, we've got to touch on the tropics because we've got 2 waves now that are showing promise for some development. And the interesting part about this is we look at the spaghetti plots here is they may interact in some form or fashion, and this kind of puts a bit of a question mark on exactly where these move or what kind of development we may see. I would say the East Coast needs to watch this very carefully, but I don't think this will have any impact on Texas. So those in the Carolinas and Virginia and even as far south as Georgia do want to watch that very, very closely. All right, 94 degrees today, 60% chance of some showers and storms late this afternoon going into tonight. I think most of the rain's done by sunrise tomorrow, so we clear out 89. And then the real payoff is going to be Friday and Saturday morning, where we get temperatures in the mid-60s, dry air. Whew, it'll be nice. Afternoon still warm, but great mornings. All right, we just talked about that interesting bird we saw here in San Antonio. The green jay?
Right. Not the RJ.
Not the RJ.
No.
But I wanted to know, what is the most common bird in Texas? Is it the mockingbird, the grackle, the sparrow, or the dove? We got votes for all of them, but right now mockingbird with a slim lead. Do you guys want to weigh in?
I think it is mockingbird. I know the grackle, like you said, it was kind of annoying bird.
Yeah, well, the mockingbird is the state bird, correct?
Correct.
But I'm just probably location biased because I see them all the time. I'm going to just say the grackle.
Okay, that's a really good guess. If you've ever been in an HEB parking lot at 7 p.m.,
they
they're
sit
everywhere.
there like a gang.
But it is the mockingbird.
Oh, very nice.
Yes,
Very
so it's the northern mockingbird. It's more common in Texas than any other state, by the way. And they are found in nearly every habitat here in Texas. They're also, as you pointed out, Ernie, the state bird of Texas.
Sweet. Okay, 6:51 right now, 80 degrees outside.
Okay, ahead on GMSA Plus next hour, the debate of the 10 Commandments in the classroom. Local districts now caught in the middle of a lawsuit and how parents are reacting. Coming up.
6:55, welcome back. Let's give you a quick update before we get you out the door at 7 o'clock. Let's take a look at the backup here. This is going to be 35 at US 90 over by Burbank High School. And part of the reason we're seeing this backup is because we do have a crash at I-10 that's going to be east right there at Probant, south of downtown, south of the Lone Star area. Traffic moving along there, that part of I-10, but be careful if you're headed out to the Probant area. And one more quick check at the northwest side of town, Fredericksburg Road. We do have reports of that stalled vehicle off to the side there. Traffic is moving along. We'll check in on the traffic situation more on GMSA Plus. Justin, how are we looking outside?
Well, we're starting off cloudy and warm this morning, RJ. Temperatures are near 80, but we do have some changes in store today in the form of our frontal boundary. That will start to bring rain chances in by the afternoon hours. And in fact, we bring it all the way up to 60% chance of rain, some showers and storms. It won't be raining the whole time, but some good rain in spots, depending if you get whether or not you get caught underneath one of these downpours. Those rain chances continue into tonight. We'll see some cooler and drier conditions by tomorrow, guys.
Thanks so much, Justin. Hey, shots fired during a fight and San Antonio police still searching for a suspect. That's one of many headlines we're going to be covering on GMSA Plus.
Okay, a lot to get to, including the debate over the 10 Commandments in public school classrooms. So hope to see you on GMSA Plus on the KSAT Plus app coming up next hour.